Hello everybody, welcome back to another devotional by Branches. We've been going through this idea of always pray through the month of May. That's been our theme, and all of our devotionals have centered around this, and this is our last devotional on prayer. And so I thought this month, one of the things that we've really been pushing is that we have a lifestyle of prayer, right? So many of us, we don't have a lifestyle of prayer. We don't live a lifestyle of prayer. What happens often is we don't pray, something bad happens in our life, and then we start praying, right? We wait until something negative happens or we need something to really start praying actively, when we should be praying constantly throughout our days, all the time, having a lifestyle of prayer, so when those bad things do happen, we already have confidence that we've bathed our lives in prayer and we can move on from that. Now, I think what a lot of us struggle in that is how. How do we cultivate a lifestyle of prayer? How do we go from people that pray maybe over our meals or right before we go to bed or when we first wake up to praying throughout the day and really having a lifestyle of consistent prayer in our lives? And so what I want to do for this last devotional is just share some really down-to-earth practical principles on how to cultivate a lifestyle of prayer, because that's what it's about. It's about growing that lifestyle of prayer. It's like working it out till you grow from being someone that prays occasionally to someone that is praying often and consistently throughout their days. And so here's just a few practical tips for cultivating a lifestyle of prayer. First one is this. Number one, if you want a lifestyle of prayer, then you need to get alone, right? You need to get alone. Many of us get so busy throughout our days, going from point A to point B, moving from this person to that person, doing that chore, and we don't ever just take the time to get alone and quiet. Many times, if we do have the chance to get alone, we flip on some music, the TV, watch something on social media. That is what we do, instead of getting completely alone and completely quiet. Now, I already know to some of you that scares you, right? Just to have something where you're completely alone and completely quiet, because we are so inundated with all kinds of distractions. But we need to get a time a day, each and every day. Maybe it's not very long, maybe it's 5-10 minutes, but where you are getting completely alone and completely quiet just to seek God in prayer. We noticed that Daniel, that he had that practice where he would go into his house and open his windows completely alone to pray. And he had that practice to do that. And so maybe it means something different for you. Maybe it means going into a closet in your house, because that's the only place where you can find alone time at. Or maybe it means going on a walk. Or maybe it means waking up early before everyone else in the house, or going to bed late, just so you have a time of complete silence and a time where you're completely alone, just with you and God. And starting that every single day. The next thing you could do is, number 2, is schedule prayer. Now, I know that seems kind of weird, but it's good. And especially if you have trouble remembering to pray, right? I've heard a lot of people say that. I just don't remember and think to pray. Because we're busy so many times. It's good to have a schedule to pray. So all of us have smartphones. You have alarms on those smartphones. So set 5 or 6 alarms a day where they go off every few hours. And that when that alarm goes on, hey, I need to stop what I'm doing right now and just pray to God, right? In Luke 18, in verse 7, the Bible tells us this. It says, "And shall not God avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him?" And so the idea there is that these elect, these people, these Christians are crying out to God day and night. They have these times where they are constantly going to God. And that's hard to just start from point 0 and start praying constantly throughout the day. So a simple tip is just to schedule prayer. Set some alarms. When those alarms go off, say prayer to God. And over time, that'll eventually become a habit, and you won't even need the alarms anymore. Third thing, and this one is one that I know many Christians struggle with and many Christians have never practiced, and that is fasting. Jesus, in line with prayer, also does teaching on fasting. Fasting is something that is it's something that we don't talk about a lot in our churches, many of our churches, and many of our lives. we don't include fasting, but it's essential to the Christian life. It's right there with prayer. It's assumed that you're to be praying often and that you're to be fasting along that. And so what fasting is, in a simple way, is just you don't eat, maybe for a day, maybe for 2 days, maybe a week, right? And you don't eat, and what you're doing is, instead of having those times of eating, right, it helps you to remember to find your substance, to find your true satisfaction in God, and it helps you to pray during those times. It helps you to rely on Him more than you rely even on your daily food. So fasting is a way that it really draws you closer into God, it pulls you in, and it gets you thinking about God a lot more, and it helps you to pray a lot more. Number 4, micro prayers. Now, one of the things that I think we do wrong is we think that we have to sit down alone and have that alone time of prayer all throughout the day. It's good to have that alone time, like I said in the beginning, but many times we need to just be praying these micro prayers, not long drawn out prayers. So this is what I mean. Have you ever just been walking or doing something, and someone comes into your mind, whether it's one of your children, your spouse, or a family member, a friend from a long time ago, someone comes into your mind? Well, do you just think on those memories and think on that person and let that thought pass? Or do you stop and just pray for that person? God, be with Sarah and help her to be okay, right? Or when you're trying to face a decision that day, right? Even if it's the smallest decision. Oh, should I go to the gas station on 19th or the gas station that's on 1st? Right? Even if it's small decisions like that, pray. God, just help me not to face traffic and lead me in the right direction. Any little decision that you're making throughout the day, just pray. God, help this to be the right decision. Right? Or whenever you're going through anything, when you're a little bit tired, right, and you're just a little bit worn out, God, give me the energy that I need. Or you see someone walking down the street, just praying for that person. God, save them if they don't know you. Open up a door opportunity that I could speak to you. Praying these micro prayers throughout the day will make you into someone that's living a lifestyle of prayer, right? It doesn't have to be long, drawn-out prayers every time you go to pray. Sometimes it's just simply mentioning, God, be with that person. God, help me in this decision. God, be here right now with me. So pray micro prayers, and doing that anytime will help you develop a lifestyle of prayer. Fifth, read your Bible. All right, read your Bible consistently. Have a time of day where you read your Bible or read it throughout the day. Here's the thing. We go to God and we talk to God through prayer, but God talks to us through His Word. We need His Word. If we're just praying, it becomes a one-way conversation. We need His Word to speak truth into our lives and to hear God's words spoken into us. And so read your Bible. If that's not part of your prayer life, if that's not part of your daily walk with God, then you need to start reading your Bible so that you can hear from God. You know, these 5 things: get alone and in quiet at least once a day. Totally alone, totally quiet. Schedule your prayer. Have some alarms. Fasting, doing micro prayers, and reading your Bible. If you do these things consistently and just start here, even if you're not praying at all, start doing one or several of those things. More you do those, more your life will develop into a habit of prayer, a lifestyle of prayer. But you got to start somewhere. Don't get overwhelmed and think you got to pray hours and hours long, right? Or that you have to pray all throughout the day or something. Just start somewhere and start growing in your prayer life, right? I hope these tips were helpful to you. I love you guys, and I hope that you have a great day. Later days.